Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. Thank you. And nobody can hang with my stuff. Just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about?
Hello, I'm Jensen. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little update on the Driftcat, and I'm going to explain why you cannot throw a hydraulic handbrake in an automatic Hellcat Charger. So let's get right to it, huh? So update on the Driftcat. As you guys saw, I drove it over to city alignment and we threw it on the lift, put the rear wheels in the air, put it in neutral, spun the rear tires, and then we could hear that crazy ass noise coming from like the tranny torque converter location. What we're thinking is that the torque converter went bad or the input shaft snapped or something like that. So the Driftcat is down. That's why I wasn't able to drive on Sunday, which was the second day of Winter Jam, which was really disappointing, but it's all good. Shit happens. I haven't driven the car since I brought it back from city alignment because I don't want to mess shit up even more. I even asked Josh on Sunday morning when we were looking at the car. I was like, "So can I just send it?" And he was like, "No, do not do that because you can fuck up the tranny. You can do a whole lot more damage than just the torque converter or the little thing that's wrong right now. Like a quick replacement can turn into a huge ordeal." So he was like, "Nah, definitely don't do that. Park it." So I listened to him, came and parked it, but I definitely need to get the Driftcat fixed ASAP. We're talking about throwing a Demon torque converter in, which is a little bit stronger. It's obviously meant to hold more horsepower, so it's a bigger stall. And it's also supposed to shift faster, so obviously that's gonna make the car faster. So that's an upgrade once I start doing the drag racing and stuff, which I was planning on doing really soon. There's an event on the 14th. I forgot where we're at, but it was a private track rental, and I was gonna go for the first time, test this thing out, but maybe I could still make it if we can get a torque converter in time. I'm not positive though, because we can't really find one. They're stupid hard to find, especially nowadays with everything being back ordered and shit not being made. So we're gonna try to track down a Demon torque converter. If not, then we'll just throw a regular stock Hellcat one in and then run it till that one messes up or something. But the reason I think that this one gave up is because it has 70,000 miles on it. And when I was in the donut pit for I don't know how long, 2 minutes or some shit, as I was swinging, it kept upshifting and I kept having a downshift. So what I'm thinking is going from up, down, from gear to gear to gear, going in circles a bunch of times, that the torque converter did not like that whatsoever. And at one point I was in 4th gear and then went back down to 2nd, back up to 4th gear. So it was it was getting put through the ringer. I'm not gonna lie, it was stressed out for sure. So I understand why it gave out. And that's kind of something that we expected, to be honest. That's one of the things that we have not upgraded, is we haven't built a tranny. It still has the stock drive shaft, stock axles, everything on it. So we were expecting something to break at some point, you know. It's bound to happen with this much horsepower. But now that we know that the torque converter went out, we can upgrade that. And then I have a new drive shaft on the way. Plus my new Renegade axles are gonna be shipped from G-Force in 2 days, I think it is. So I'll have the axles, drive shaft, and the new built torque converter in this thing. So it's gonna be a straight beast. It's gonna be, I don't wanna say bulletproof, but you know, it's gonna be beefed up. It's gonna be built. And since I was talking about going in the donut pit, here's a different angle in the outside view of when I was going from 2nd to 3rd to 4th to 2nd, going crazy. So I'm pretty sure that's what did it. But the weird thing was that I drove home after that day perfectly fine, no noises, didn't feel funny, nothing was crazy. So I guess after it cooled off, then it started making a bunch of noise. I guess it was just stupid hella hot and then it broke. But anyway, that'll be fixed really soon. As long as we can find a torque converter. It's hard to find one. You can't really just go buy one from a dealership or something like that, because most places sell it as a package. You got to buy the torque converter with the transmission and all that shit, and that's like 5,000-6,000, and I'm not doing that shit. So, and most of the places that do only sell the torque converter are back ordered or they're out of stock, something like that. So it's gonna be kind of a to find, but we'll track one down and the Driftcat will be fixed ASAP. Plus, by the time we find a torque converter, then I'll have the new drive shaft and the new axles, and hopefully it'll be done by the 14th so we can go test this thing at the drag strip. I know you guys are waiting for that, and I can't lie, I hella want to go to the drag strip. I've been watching too many videos, going to too many events, and not being able to drive. So that's coming extremely soon. As soon as this thing's back on the road, we're going to the drag strip. So that's the update on the Driftcat. Now let me tell you guys why we cannot throw a handbrake in here. And the only reason is because that it's automatic. There's so many electronics and safety features built into these transmissions that it will not let you lock up the rear wheels when you're going fast and be able to stay in the same gear. So even if you're in manual mode, say you're in 5th gear, if you're coming to a stop, the car is still gonna downshift for you. So say you're coming into a turn 40, 60, 80 miles an hour and you have a hydraulic handbrake installed. If you come in 50, 60 miles an hour, rip the e-brake, it's gonna think that you just came to a stop. So it's gonna put the transmission in 1st gear. And if you're going 60 plus miles an hour sideways and you let go of that handbrake and it's in 1st gear and you're on the gas, it's over with. The transmission is gonna go boom the first turn, and there's no way to tune it so it will stay in the same gear, because that's what the clutch is for. Because if you guys don't know, if you're in a manual car and you go to use the hydraulic handbrake, you have to push in and hold the clutch while you have the handbrake in, because the rear wheels are locked. So if you just pull that and you don't have the clutch in, it's gonna stall the car and lock up the rear wheels and you're gonna crash. So you have to have that clutch to be able to pull the handbrake, to be able to disengage the whole drivetrain. And then when you let go of the handbrake, you let go of the clutch, get back on the gas, and you continue sliding. But with the automatic, you obviously don't have a clutch, so you can't disengage the drivetrain. So it's gonna think that you stopped the car. That's not good. Not good, no bueno. So what I would have to do to put a handbrake in this thing is swap a Challenger manual gearbox into it. I think it's the TR6060 that they put in. I'm not positive, I don't know. But that's what I would have to do. Is I would have to swap in a manual transmission, and I'm not doing that. This thing is kind of a daily driver for the most part. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Bay Area, but there's definitely traffic on traffic everywhere you go. So I'm not gonna sit there in a manual going through gears in traffic. That's not fun whatsoever. I've done it before, trust me. I've had a manual car. It's not the best to daily drive out here. Just to have a hydro in this thing, it doesn't really make sense. It definitely would make a world of a difference if I did have a hydro in this thing, because I would be able to come in turns a lot faster, go a lot crazier, but that's kind of the last thing I would want to do, is swap a manual transmission into here. At that point, I would just buy a drift cart, you know. Plus, another thing is that the manual transmission is slower than the automatic. And if I'm going to get into drag racing, I'm going to want the fastest car possible, and the manual transmission's not really it. You could do it with the manual transmission, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not as fast as you could be with the automatic. Another question I get a lot is adding an angle kit to this car. I've talked to a couple people. I've talked to people at the Drift Cave about it. They said that they could fabricate something with a set of knuckles to have more angle, but all I would really have to do is buy a set of stock knuckles so I can switch them in and out if I wanted to. So that's one thing I might do in the future, is get an angle kit for this thing. I've definitely looked at every option there is to make this thing an actual drift car. Definitely not gonna put a cage in there because you gotta chop a bunch of the interior. I've looked at angle kits. I just have to move on it, find a pair of stock knuckles and bring them to them and have them fabricate them and all type of shit. And of course, I've looked at the hydraulic handbrake. That will not work. But that's pretty much why you cannot put a handbrake in this thing. I wish I could. Trust me, I would already have one. I've looked at it and researched a bunch, and I've seen a couple people that said that they have it in an automatic car, but they'll have like an older car that doesn't have a lot of electronics as this car has and stuff like that. Like if you're coming down a hill going 60 to 80 miles an hour and you rip the e-brake, your automatic transmission's not gonna like that. And I'm sure that works in older cars or some cars that you can just put it in the gear and it stays in gear, but this car will either downshift for you and sometimes it'll upshift for you. So that might be something that can be tuned out, but for the most part, that's not something that can be tuned out right now. So maybe in the future when they find out a bunch more shit with the transmissions, but not right now, definitely not. But right now, there's not a chance. So here's a video from Winter Jam that I got sent of some outside angles of the Driftcat. Let's watch them. And that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell, thumbs up, all that stuff. If you'd like to support the channel, make sure you go to helloclothing.com, grab you some merch. Don't forget to go subscribe to the Hello Behind the Scenes channel. We're doing a giveaway on there. As soon as we hit 5K subscribers, we're going to give away $250 to the first place prize winner. The second place prize winner is going to get a merch pack, so a mystery pack of a bunch of different Hello gear. And then the third place prize winner is going to win a shout out and a FaceTime call from me and my brothers. So make sure you go subscribe to that channel and comment when you're done. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.